turn them back, and you're just like, all right. What is up, you guys? I'm Tiffany. Welcome to the Cinematic Reviewer. Today I'm reviewing the Odyssey. And I did pick this background as an intentional choice. Might as well do the beach, the ocean for a movie like this, right? The moral of the story could just be summed up with the song lyrics, war, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Now, I am fully aware I am not the target audience for this movie. I do think the movie is good for what it is. Now, I will say, I got a lot of Lord of the Rings, Narnia, Pirates of the Caribbean vibes while I was watching, due to the fantastical and mythological elements. Now, I have read the story, but it's been so long ago, this experience almost felt like discovering the story for the first time. Now, I will be touching on what I didn't like and then what I did like. So some gripes I had with the movie. The use of modern language. I will say you get used to it, but it's still a weird choice given the Odyssey is an epic. The sound mixing. In the beginning, the background noise was quite loud, but the dialogue was practically indistinguishable. Bring on the subtitles! But the sound mixing did get better further into the movie. So fortunately, you could actually hear what the characters were saying. The star-studded cast. They just did not feel like the characters you would see an actor and you'd be like, oh, it's that actor, instead of, hey, this is the character. And really what you're going to be looking at when you see these actors is you're picturing better roles, better movies. It's not so much of like, wow, they're performing so well. So for me, the talent or range of the actors really was a disappointment. They really underperformed. So it felt even more disappointing we didn't get new talent instead of another movie with A-list actors. The score. Unfortunately, the music did not hit. And there was this one part, I wish I could remember specifically what the sound was supposed to be, but it's supposed to be a tense moment. You know what? Now I remember. Okay, partial spoilers here, so if you haven't seen the movie, just skip past this one. But the part when they're in Troy and they're trying to open the doors to get the rest of their army in, it kept being like this tense moment where it's like this little sound going, and it was almost like nails on a chalkboard. It was like one of those, I started to want to plug my ears because I was like, oh my gosh, like they just keep it going for like 5 minutes. That should have been something for like 20, 30 seconds. It was not necessary. So like it's fine for it to be a while for them to open the doors, but maybe don't do that music or background noise, whatever you want to call it, because like that choice was not good. And also, in regarding to sound mixing, yeah, it's like shouting, ah, a lot. There were definitely parts where I was like, man, you know, maybe I should just be plugging my ears. I didn't, but it was like an experience where it's like, oh my gosh, it's so loud. And not in like a fun way, you know? It was just kind of like, all right, we're obligated to listen to this, okay? The disturbing moments. The Cyclops scenes and Circe turning the soldiers into animals. Oof, hated that. So now I'm going to move on to the positives I have for the movie. Robert Pattinson was the standout for me. He really has incredible range. He did a great job. The coloring. Now I'm not gonna try and say every single element here was great coloring. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen like the pictures of the movie Troy next to the picture of the Odyssey, and it's like, ooh, that's like night and day over here. Like, yeesh. It is too bad what is happening these days where it's, you are hard pressed to find good coloring in movies, good saturation. So it was a little like, there are a lot of moments where it's like, it's a little bit gray, a little bit dull, but they did have some good coloring in certain scenes, especially the orange scenes. I particularly enjoyed that. Like I said, I felt Lord of the Rings, Narnia, Pirates of the Caribbean vibes, and I wouldn't be surprised if part of it is because of that. Like that nice return to form where it's a little bit fiery looking. It's like, yay. The pacing. While this movie was crazy long, like please do bring back intermissions for 3-hour-long movies. This was truly killer there. Like that was one of the biggest things I was like, maybe I'll watch this movie. And then I was like, the runtime, excuse-moi, 3 hours. Ooh, you killed me guys, yikes. But again, The pacing was good to me. Like, I was fully captivated with the movie. I was locked in. I was like, yeah, let's find out what's gonna happen. What I appreciated about this movie too is it does not feel like it's solely an Oscar bait and for the art house movie fans. The timeline wasn't confusing. It presented flashbacks in a very well able to understand way compared to Christopher Nolan's typical movies. Like, I am not a Christopher Nolan fan. I've seen a fair number of his movies. Batman Begins, Dark Knight, Interstellar, Inception. Oh, Tenet. Went to see that. He's just not really the guy for me, but I do think in large part this one was pretty well executed in how it did things. Like, I think the pacing was good. I think the timeline was good. Things went well. So what I would say about this movie, it's good for the target audience. The people who wanted to see a Christopher Nolan movie, they're gonna be happy. The people who wanted to see the Odyssey adapted accurately, from what I've heard, it does not do that. But if you want to see a movie about the Odyssey in a new light, I think you'll be happy. So I think for the people who really want this movie, want to see a good movie for what it is, I think they'll be happy. For me personally, it's not my kind of movie. I was locked in. I was enjoying myself, relatively speaking. Like, it's not one of those pull your hair out, scream like crazy because you're suffering so much. It's not that kind of movie. I will say it is hard to watch. Again, almost 3 hours of your life just in one seat, and there's no pause. You know, there's no break. Like, it's a little bit of like, can't we take a pause? Primarily what I wanted to do here with my review, besides the fact of, hey, this is just me sharing my opinion and everything, it's also to kind of talk to people more like me, blockbuster fans, fans of fun movies, fans of not always mysterious movies, right? I'd say you don't have to see it at the theater if you don't want to. Like, it's gonna make bank, it's gonna make lots of money, so it's not like I'm saying, oh, don't support this movie financially, but I'm just saying, if you had to put your hard-earned money down on something, I don't think you need to see this one. Like, it's not some grand spectacle. Oh my gosh, you gotta see it. Like, there are good shots, but really, you could have seen better shots in other movies. Like, it's not something that's like so revolutionary, you're never gonna see it again. It was good. I did see it in IMAX, so that was good to see, like, the full effect, the full picture and everything. But again, it's not a movie that, for people who are not really Christopher Nolan fans, not really interested in seeing a story about the Odyssey, who weren't that impressed by the trailer, I don't think you have to see it. Now, the people who like Christopher Nolan, want to see this movie, go. Enjoy yourself. Like, I'm glad there are people who are going to enjoy themselves. Again, this is just me not being the target audience, and I'm okay with that. Like, it's fine. And again, it's not some awful movie. I just know it's not for me. Now, I do have a few more notes to add. I did appreciate seeing the actor, the main guy from Scorpion. He was in this brief scene. I definitely appreciated that. I was like, hey! There was also this one actor who plays one of the bad guys in No Ordinary Family. I think he also played Zod in Smallville. And he's been in certain 2000 shows, so it was kind of cool to see him in this. Now, Cersei was very understandable. When she was scared out of her wits, seeing the soldiers, you know, coming to her house, about to, you know, fully come in and everything, I was having the same thoughts. I was like, oh my gosh, what are they gonna do to her? This is awful. Like, I completely understand why she's so scared. Like, especially the part where she's like, leave the weapons outside. To me, I'm like, yeah. Like, I mean, regardless, they probably would have used their own personal weapons, right? But, you know, again, very understandable. It's afterwards, as they're very slothfully eating their food, I was like, oh, this is where we're going into things. Whoa, like, that was crazy. If anything, she could kind of like take care of herself, but especially that monologue she was getting into where she was explaining about the soldiers and everything and who they are, and you know, like, she's 100% right. And it is kind of weird. Like, someone made a point, I saw, you know, somewhere online, where someone made a point. The end of the movie, spoilers, the end of the movie is like Matt Damon as Odysseus is like, okay, I'm gonna go over here with my wife so we can honor my men that died. And someone was making the point, okay, well, we did address that they probably are the ultimate R-wordists, and yet you're gonna respect them. Like, it kind of toes the line of, like, part of it's like, keep the original story of, like, respect the dead, you know, pay your respects to your men, but also, like, yeah, let's kind of address the elephant in the room. It's kind of weird to put them together. It's like, yeah. They kind of get into that treatment, but my point is to say that Cersei, like, even before they started addressing that's what she's thinking to herself, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm scared for her. She's all alone, and all these men are here, and it's like, oh, what's gonna happen to her? And it's like, yeah. I can tell you, I did not remember that part from the story. That was one part that, you know, I did not remember, and I was like, yeah. That was a lot. No, the way that she does that, she like grabs them by the mouth and molds them. Ooh, that was disturbing. Hated that so much. I was like, ooh, that was a lot. Truly, I am surprised. I am shocked that she actually listened to Odysseus and was like, turn them back. And he was like, all right. I was like, really? I'm surprised she did that. Now, to touch again on what some people who are very, whether it's Greek history, Greek mythology, all that sort of thing, and the story of the Odyssey, the way that the gods are treated in this movie compared to the actual story, things made more sense in the original story compared to the movie itself. Like the whole thing with Poseidon, it makes more sense, and it would have been nice if they kind of more addressed it, that it's like, yeah, it's more than just Poseidon's angry, and so the waves are going to be a little bit intense. The point is, it's not that far of a journey, technically speaking. It's that the gods are angry, and so that's why he's stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and it takes forever for him to get home. And a weird choice still is that Matt Damon's Odysseus literally says, I don't want to go home. It's literally a story where he's supposed to go home. It's just, there are some interesting choices. And again, a lot of this of kind of missing the point of the original story, I can't speak to that because it's been too long since I read it, but I have seen some critiques from well-researched people who actually have recently read the book or are, you know, very locked into that story and everything. It's like, yeah, that's a really good point. That's weird. And again, to touch on the original story compared to what happens in this movie, where was the nobody scene? That is one of the best parts of the Odyssey. Who are you? I'm nobody. Nobody is attacking me. Oh no. And so his buddies don't help him. Like the Cyclops scene and everything. Like, how could you omit that? Like, it's such a good scene. And it shows that he's smart, because the reason that was kind of hard for me to lock into Odysseus as a character is he's not really portrayed as smart, even though apparently he's supposed to be a pretty smart character. Part of his intelligence, part of why he's a pretty shrewd guy, is that he does that. He tricks the Cyclops and everything. Now he is a little bit silly. He's a little too prideful because he boasts on the boat eventually that, oh, I told him my name is nobody. And that's when Poseidon curses him. But again, it's so much of the time I'm like, why is he so stupid? He's gonna shoot the arrow at the Cyclops even though it's already established that they're free. Like, there are just weird choices. Like, there are many times where I'm like, yeah, Odysseus is making some bad choices, and it seems like his men are a little bit making the right call. Now, eventually they are very silly, and, you know, the part where it's like, okay, I got the warning of what's supposed to happen. You cannot kill these cattle. And then they're stuck there for a very long time, and so then they eat the cattle, and so then they're all gonna die, but he gets to live. I don't know. It is a movie that, as a movie, was pretty enjoyable. It's not a story I would revisit. It's just not my thing. Honestly, like, the big thing for me is now I'm kind of curious. I had to read the Odyssey in school. What if I tried to read it again now? Maybe I could actually enjoy it, because it does actually kind of sound interesting. And again, like I said, the very beginning of my review, the moral of the story could really be summed up with war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. And that's really what we get into. We come back to Troy and everything, and he's like, oh my gosh, this is awful what we're doing to all these people. It really was a very disturbing, very long sequence. And it's like, yeah, it's a really good point. And maybe it kind of contradicts the original story. I can't say. But I did think it was a pretty decent message, because to me, I'm like, I don't like war. I don't like to watch stories about war. So I was like, works for me, guys. All good. So I did want to go ahead and share. So like I said, I did see this movie in IMAX. I did see it the first day it came out. And a big part of the reason why I saw it specifically that day is I wanted the posters. Let me go ahead and share it with you guys. Hopefully you can see that pretty well. Let's see. Look at it. It's pretty cool. As you can see, there's like a little bit of film strip on both sides, so it's pretty cool. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up, comment below, and if you liked this video and would like to see more movie content, be sure to hit that subscribe button. See you guys next time. Bye!